Okay, let's continue with a type example. In this case, I'm trying to make some shapes or objects out of letters. And a lot of the examples that you might find online or see people do is they do it by using lots of letters and duplicating them many times so it builds up to a color or shape in this case. Um, you can do that quite easily inside of Adobe Illustrator, which I'm using here by using the letters. And I'm going to build up, I don't know, I was thinking of a ghost. I just don't know if that's sort of going to work the way that I want it to work. How about we do a skull? So I'm going to use the word skull, S-K-U-L-L, skull. Okay, in this case, I typed it, just plain letters. I don't even know what font I'm using. Just put some plain letters on, maybe duplicate it a couple times here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sort of a shape of a skull, and I'm going to leave some white space. But basically, I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm going to use the letters by duplicating them several times. How you duplicate several times is by using the Alt key on the keyboard. How you do that is you just click and drag, okay? And as you see, I'm holding the Alt key down. You can see I can duplicate. Okay, so I'm going to start building up a shape here. And so, oh, I want to go around. There we go. And so all I'm doing is clicking and dragging, making some, that's okay if it rotates a little bit. You can rotate it back if you want. In fact, it's probably better if you rotate a little bit. There you go. And all I'm doing is clicking and dragging. I'm trying to make teeth down here. It might not look teeth yet, but maybe eventually it'll look like teeth. Okay. Rotate a little bit. Oh. Okay, and I'm trying to go around. Let's just go around the outside of my skull first. Oh, you can change the size to change it a little bigger at the top here. Let's rotate a little bit. Let me make it smaller again. Again, all I'm doing is duplicating, holding the Alt, or of course you're on Windows or on Mac, you'd be using the Option key on the keyboard. Okay, there we go. We got our basic skull shape here. Oops. Use the black arrow. And it's okay if it rotates and things like that. And then, of course, we want to put some eyeballs in here. So let's do some skull eyeballs here. Rotate a little bit. And then let's duplicate over here for some other eyeballs. Okay, rotate. And then maybe skull nose. Oh, we're going to rotate it this way because it's kind of long like that. And okay, I did that real quick though. So in this case, if we zoomed out a little bit, maybe if you saw it, it would look like a skull. Zooming in and out is Control minus and Control plus. So again, all I did was use one word. You don't have to use one word, but I duplicated it several times to make a new sort of colored area. Again, holding down the Alt, using the black arrow, and duplicating it several times can give you a cool sort of pattern like you see with the letters. Great little example of how to make shapes and things like that with letters. So that's one example. Let me talk a little bit about using letters a little bit differently. In this case, you might want to just use letters in different shapes. They don't have to be all the way across as well as the same color. So let me just show you a couple more ways of doing things. So in this case, I'm going to start with the word fishing. Okay, and then I'm going to make that kind of bigger. And so instead of using letters that are just simple all the way across like that, what you could do is inside of Illustrator and as well as in Photoshop, there is a special effects option. I don't know if it's this one. Yeah, it's this one right here. In this top toolbar here, if you click up there, you'll see you have all kinds of things. We got arcs, and if you hit the preview button, you'll see you can arc it, you can bulge it, you can do all kinds of things like that. And of course there's one called fish. That's why we typed it called fishing. And then there's of course adjustments you can do, so you can make things a little bit, and there's a preview option that lets you see it as you're going along and making adjustments. And so of course fishing would look good like that. And then of course again you could do the same thing that we just did before where you can duplicate it. I don't know if that's perfect or not, but you get the idea. Let me delete some of these. Put one back. Okay, so that's one way of going about adjusting there. Of course, there's all kinds of transitional tools and things like that. The other thing to keep in mind when you're working inside of Illustrator is how can I color my letters. Right now, they're kind of just black with white, just basically black. But you could give them a fill and a stroke. A fill is the color, so you have to use the actual letter tool. Highlight the letter. Oh, that's not going to work. Got to click somehow in there, I thought. I don't know. Let's see if I can give it black to white. Let's see. No, it's not going to work for me. It doesn't like it. Let's think of how we can change the color of this. Well, there's warp things over here too, the warp your letters. I don't know. Oh, here we go. Black to white. Why doesn't it not show it when I select it? So if I choose blue, and then I can give it a black line or a red line. There we go. And then we can change the thickness of the line. Okay, so you can do all kinds of things like that with your letters inside of Illustrator. All I did was change the fill and the stroke. And fill and stroke are the two color options for letters inside of there. But you don't have to really do that for this lesson. All I really want you to do is try to make shapes out of letters and think of how letters can be in shapes. Let's talk about giving your, you might have seen some of the examples. There's a gradient in some of them. I don't know why it didn't turn off. Turn my stroke off. There we go. In this case, there is a gradient. There's a gradient option inside of Illustrator. If you look inside the toolbar, there's a solid color one way down here in the left corner, way over here. There's a solid, gradient, and no. So if I give it a gradient, you'll see that it gives it a gradient for each of the letters. If you wanted to go across all the letters, I think you could use the gradient tool and kind of draw a line. Let's see. No, it doesn't work that way. How did I do it a gradient? I was able to do that before. Well, there's some special effects we can do underneath the attributes option. No, not attributes. It's called appearance. And the appearance option, we could give it a gradient. There's a whole bunch of 3D and things like that, artistic effects and things like that. You might want to try some of those under appearance. I don't know if I want to show you all those and things like that quite yet. But you might want to try them. There is a way of coloring the letters. I just need to think about it. Let me think. We have the letters. Maybe if I turn, instead of using the letters as letters, once you're done making the letters into the shape that you want, you can go underneath the typography option, type up here in there and say create outlines. What that does is it converts your letters into objects. That way there are no more letters, so you can't retype them, but they're objects, and then you can do special things. Well, it's still not doing it. You got to do type, create outlines. Let me try that again. Okay, they're objects. Expand then too. I went under object, expand, and it made it into more what it should be. Now if I use the gradient tool, there we go. It gives me what I want. So by converting, and what I mean by what I want is that now it's gradating all of them as a group and not as individual letters like it was before. That's what I was trying to do. I don't know. I have a lot of lessons on how to use Adobe Illustrator. I'll link some of them up so that you can learn the basics of Illustrator. In this case, all I want you to do is more of what my samples were at the very beginning, where you would then take an object like this fishing letters right here and make them into a new object by duplicating them several times. In this case, if I wanted to make a fish, I can, after I did my gradient, I could start duplicating them. We're going to make a fish out of these letters. Oops. It's okay if you change the sizes of them. It's okay. Kind of looks like a fish. It's the start of a fish. It's going to be skinny right here, and then of course we want to rotate for our tail. There we go. And rotate again for the bottom of the tail. And rotate again for the middle. There we go. It kind of looks like a fish, somewhat ugly fish, but it is a fish out of letters that say fish. And of course I can find out some letters and things like that to make there. But so I want you to think of new shapes that you can do with letters. Look at the examples from the website. Try and see what you can do. Of course, there's all those kind of typography that people do at the end of their emails, right? I'm not really good at those, but I can't remember what they're called. But try some of those and make me some nice examples, and I'll explain later how to turn it in.